Okay, so what I wanted to finish off was how His Holiness said to use these different verses from the Madhyamaka avatar, Madhyamaka Karikas in your meditation, okay? So he said, yesterday we were talking about how you contemplate yourself as a practitioner and you go through, not being one with the aggregates, not being separate from the aggregates, not being in the aggregates, the aggregates in the self. So you go through all those different ways. And in that way you conclude that you're not inherently existent, but you exist by mere designation. Okay? Because that's the only other way things could exist if they're not inherently existent. Okay, so you exist merely in name, but like we said, that doesn't mean you're just a sound or that things are sounds, okay? So His Holiness at that point said, I had a feeling that if I spent more time, I could have an experience of emptiness. But I'm very busy with all my things that I have to do. He said, otherwise, without an understanding of emptiness, if you do deity yoga, it doesn't make any sense. And rather than deity yoga decreasing your afflictions, when you arise as the deity and you emit light and so on, it seems to increase your discursive thought and your emotions, and maybe even your self-centeredness, because here I am, the center of the mandala. Okay? Yeah, so he said that understanding emptiness is just really important. So he said, in your meditation, on the deity yoga, first meditate on emptiness, and think, this is as your regular self, think that you're dependently designated. There's no inherent essence that is you. And with that, you dissolve into emptiness. So there's no appearance of inherently existent phenomena. We may not be at that level where that actually happens, but that's what we imagine, okay? And then within emptiness, that wisdom realizing emptiness arises as the deity. And then after that, you analyze the deity to see that the deity also isn't inherently existent. So you use those same ways for analyzing yourself as a deity as you did for analyzing yourself in your ordinary form, going through either it's not the same, it's not different, or the 5 that Nagarjuna said, or the 7 that Chantakirti said, and you go through in that way. And so you see that even as the deity, you aren't inherently existent. So you again confirm to yourself that you're empty of true existence. Okay? So the conventionally existent I, is merely labeled on, or the conventionally existent I is appearing as the deity. Okay? But it's like an illusion, because there's nothing you can point to that really is the deity, or really is the I that is the deity, okay? And so there's no truly existent deity there, no absolute deity. And so this is the way you meditate very strongly, especially on the generation stage, because you need this kind of understanding before going on to the completion stage. Because if you don't have this realization of emptiness, the completion stage won't bring the results that it's supposed to. Okay, and then think that you're doing this practice of cultivating insight into emptiness with the bodhicitta motivation. Okay, so that's a real practical way to integrate sutra and tantra, the sutra being Nagarjuna's verses and the tantra being our deity yoga and guru yoga. And so, meditating on the ordinary self is empty, yet dependently designated. Meditating on the deity is empty and yet dependently designated. Okay? So very good. And then, those verses that he told us to memorize, he said, think that you're sitting in front of me for an examination to see if you know them. What's the first one?
That which is
Dependent arising,
is itself
self.
empty.
It is explained to be empty. empty, that being a dependent designation is itself the middle way. Okay? And then there does not exist anything that is not dependent arisen. Yeah. Or actually, it's better to say dependently arisen. It is not dependently arisen. Therefore, there is not anything that is not empty. We're getting there. We should practice this for a few days. Yeah?
Ones that he gave us before, 22, all environments and beings, like magicians, illusions, dreams.
Right. Yeah, we should. Yeah. So it'd be nice to develop some nice melodies for all of these. So like that one, these two, and then the one about the Tathagata, to develop a melody that kind of suits all four of those verses and chant them together. Okay, so all of our other chanting has developed around the kitchen table. Yeah, do you remember? Yeah, we all sat around and just brainstormed and came up with the chants. So we might have to do that again. Okay.